Different kind of conversation tonight.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
So as you know, on Friday evenings, well, if you're a regular viewer, you know that. If you're a brand new viewer, welcome and happy Thanksgiving weekend to you. Many of you are probably exhausted on the original airing of this program for Black Friday, and I don't do Black Friday. I've figured out how to minimize shopping completely. Then again, you have to have a pretty good partner to be able to do that, right? But on Friday evenings, we tend to kind of spread it out a little bit, whether it be a large political theme or just something interesting. And since we all want to take the pedal off the metal a little bit on Thanksgiving weekend, I thought it would be fun to have a conversation with my guest tonight. You may see this show once or twice over the holidays, too, because the lighter the better as we get toward the holiday season. So I was reading an op-ed piece in the Providence Journal by our guest about this boomerang theory. Here's the copy of the book. And I find this to be very interesting because in Rhode Island we've got the self-deprecating mindset, which is that everyone wants to leave and everybody wants to leave and everybody wants to leave and everybody wants to leave. Are you okay over there?
Yeah.
You're just, you're regrouping?
I'm regrouping, yes.
Welcome.
That was on?
Yes, yes. We're on television. We're on television.
All right,
You are on.
all right.
Colleen Kelly Mellor is on television, and her book is Boomerang, and the concept is what?
The concept is that many, and you've already touched on it, want to leave the state. They say, we're out of here. We did all that. We did many years. We did, I'd say 26 years of traveling, all up and down the East Coast. Portland, Maine to Key West, Florida. And then when we weren't fascinated with anything there, then we went inland to Asheville, North Carolina. Then we were there for 9 years. Then we came back. So we are effectively the boomerang couple. I say that we're like the Lewis and Clark of senior expedition people. And you're absolutely right. So many people are knocking the state. I think Rhode Islanders have the worst case of negative imaging. Maybe because many of them haven't been anywhere else. I don't know. I don't know if they've lived anywhere else. Both my partner and I, we've been together 26 years. He was a long-haul, big rig driver all over the United States. Every single state in the United States except one. Do you know what one that was, Dan?
I'm guessing it's in the ocean somewhere.
It is.
Yeah, because it's hard to drive a truck out there.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe how many people think I'm talking about Alaska.
Really?
And I'm not. So it is Hawaii. He didn't bring the big rig to Hawaii. He was an independent long-haul trucker, so he had to do everything himself. So he was a good reference for me. I've been through a lot of the United States, and I've also been a lot in Europe as well.
Okay, so let's have a lengthier chat about the concept of. You also talked in your article about downsizing a little bit. It seemed to me, and
Yeah.
that's something that I think all baby boomers, the York family included, are contemplating. 3/4 of an empty nest, and then it moves back to a half, and then 3/4, and eventually.
And then they keep coming back.
Well, they keep boomeranging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I like that. I like you using my term.
Well, there is a interesting. I think there is a generational cyclical boomerang one, boomerang two, boomerang three.
That's why
right?
I have 3 R's in the title.
Was that on purpose?
That is not, and I should never have done that, because actually with boomerang with 3 R's,
Yeah.
when people try to put it in the Google,
Yeah.
put it in Google,
It doesn't work.
it autocorrects to 1.
Yeah. Autocorrect is the biggest pain in the neck.
And the man who wrote boomerang with 1 R
Yeah.
is very happy with me.
Oh, there you go.
And also, it sends you to the toy that you throw up in the air. So
Oh.
you have to fight hard to get my book.
Well, we'll help out tonight.
Thank you.
There you go. But let's talk about the first level. It seems to me, the big worry, and I'm not sure you're going to offer any kind of deep educational theories or economic theories here, but as a Rhode Islander, I'm sure you've got your thoughts on this. I mean, the big worry, and the politicians talk about all the time, and the notion is that our kids are going to leave and they're never going to come back if we don't create the atmosphere economically, job creation, all that. Thought on that level?
I have 2 adult daughters who are in Seattle, and they are part of that exodus due to the fact that they needed tech jobs. One's a designer, and the other one works for a tech company. So they're both in marketing, but couldn't get jobs here in Rhode Island, really not too much in the east, the northeast. And both lived in New York, Boston, then San Francisco, and now they're in Seattle, where all the big tech companies are, or at least the newer ones coming in.
It's always
and so
hard.
forth.
I've got a lot of friends whose kids have flown the coop by thousands of miles. That's got to be heartbreaking.
It's hard, and it's also like you go to all this work. You raise them. I was a single parent twice. I raised 2 families myself. I was widowed 2 times by 43.
Oh my God, I'm
and
sorry.
Therefore, it was difficult. I was always raised. And girls are 10 years apart in age. So I don't have this big need. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this. Frankly, if I can get more attention to why people might want to stay here, if I can get enough people coming in here, and business can maybe turn around a little, I'm going to help out the legislature. I will be going in front of the legislature to talk about this.
So did you argue, and were you out of state when your daughters left?
Because there were 10 years difference in age. Let me think. I was in state for the older one. And actually the young one went to McGill. One went to McGill, and one went to Carnegie Mellon. The one that went to McGill, the younger one.
Where's McGill? Carnegie McGill is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then McGill, I get them mixed up because they're both kind of similar. Anyway, the one that went to Canada, I even wrote the cover story in the Providence Journal. I've been writing for years for the Providence Journal. And I wrote 3 cover stories, and How Much for College was one, and about a Canadian
That's a whole other 10 shows, and we've done plenty of them.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ticket's not getting any cheaper, by the way.
To where?
To college.
Well, that's why we made the decision that she was going to go to McGill in Montreal. Because it was I was just retiring from teaching. I'd done 30 years. It had been tough years. So then it was basically, we decided, where do you want to go? And she said, well, I really like Penn, UPenn, or whatever. I said, you're going to be in Hawk forever. I can't do that. I was a widow, and I was leaving, and so forth, leaving teaching. So then she went to McGill, and she got a very good situation. She got excellent education. So that was another story that I did.
So when they leave, the hope, I think, for a lot of Rhode Island families is that they will boomerang back.
Yes.
And I don't know what the real data is about them not doing that.
Well, the bigger data for me, because I'm going around speaking a lot of places, is people are coming up to me after I'm speaking saying, we're boomerangers too. I'm thinking of creating a little club, hopefully a bigger club, of all those people. This is a story that isn't being told
But
yet.
I'm not sure. So on the first level with the young kids, your daughters aren't coming back.
I'm hoping they will.
You think they might?
Well, if
After they read the book?
If the economy changes and gets to the point where we have more industry coming in, more jobs of the ilk that could keep young people here, that can compete with cities like Seattle. You need jobs that are going to be able to do that, though. You need jobs that are paying more than $40,000 a year, because they are making good incomes. But I'd like to get them back at least to this coast, because it would be easier.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about what the incentives might be, and then as you get on a little bit, why some people do come back. Stay with us. So that is an excerpt, although, you know what, when you get past 50, you can't even read stuff like that on the monitor. I hope you got a full screen there, but I know that we've got, I'm going to steal your paperwork. What does that actually say, Anita? It's got,
Be careful for what you ask.
Yes.
You might get it. Paul and I thought we wanted, all we thought we wanted was a retirement home in a warmer, less frenzied region like the Northeast. We got it. That was the problem.
There you go. That's Colleen.
And he's right. I could barely see it.
Doing a good job of reading her own stuff from a distance. You know, everyone's got a 72-inch screen now, so you know they're.
That means I'm blown up everywhere.
Yeah, you are larger than life.
I don't like that.
How'd you like to look like this and do a nightly television show?
We want to have a fuzz on here now at this point.
But this. All right. So we're talking about the different levels of boomeranging back to Rhode Island. By the way, is this a concept that is Rhode Island specific, or is this a concept that is everywhere?
No, I'm so glad you asked that. I was a 30-year teacher, and then for 2 years after teaching, I just wrote. It was like, I'm going to...
Teacher here?
Yes, in Cranston.
Okay.
In junior high, 23 years, 7 years in high school. So basically after that, I wrote for 2 years, and I thought this is too quiet for me. I was 53 at the time, so then I went into real estate. And in my 4th year of real estate, and I don't do this in a braggadocio way, I was making 6 figures.
Good for you.
And the reason I was making 6 figures is I'm a workaholic. Basically, that's what I do in everything I take on. So I learned real estate. I was applying all the principles and whatever. And then when we started looking for our retirement home, I utilized those skills with real estate to choose the proper region, the proper place, the proper state, everything that fit us and would be mindful of things that we could sell if we needed to. So this was important. I mean, I knew what I wanted to buy we ended up buying a townhome. They call them there, more so than condominiums. We bought a townhome in Asheville, North Carolina with all the bells and whistles. But I knew what to watch out for.
Meaning?
The minute I came into town, and when we finally did get the realtor, and I test drove several of them, because I tell people you don't have to sign on right away. They're not going to take you out forever. But go out a couple of times with them on itineraries, see how you feel. So we did that. But my caveat to all of them was, I don't want to buy a place anywhere near a Superfund site. That was my biggest concern.
Because?
Because I didn't know the area. And those things aren't always, you're not always getting advertised like we're a Superfund site. But what I found, and this was one of the reasons I wrote the book.
By the way, in case you don't know, you should know Superfund sites are rehabbed sites where there's been some environmental problems, generally landfills and other eyesores and that kind of thing.
They are the most toxic sites, and Rhode Island has maybe 13 of them.
Yeah.
All right, but in any case, it's a real issue if you're on well water. And in some of the areas of Asheville, you're going to be on well water.
All right, well, there's a clinical discussion, but my question was, is this boomerang thing something that
is it applicable to all places?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And because people have a sense of being from the place that they started in, correct?
Yes.
And I'm guessing the intangibles are different from place to place, but the system of evaluating it is more or less the same. Is that right?
You use the same principles that we used in the purchasing, the selling. I even talk about self-selling in here. A few of the realtors went crazy about that because I was a realtor. But I talk about how to self-sell.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the real estate business, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe you want to try self-selling. That's always a fun thing to do.
Well, you know, a guy told me the other day, a close friend of mine who's just gotten into the business, and he's all excited about it, says that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 10%. So you pay a realtor 5 or 6%, right, off the price of a house. But in general, statistically at least, they will tell you that the price of the house will sell at 10% higher with a realtor than it will if you self-sell. So the differential is 3, 4, 5% to your side. Okay, you know, and then there's all sorts of stuff dealing with the public. Which that you got to make a decision as to whether
what do
you
you
want to
think
do
the
that.
hardest thing is with self-sell?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. What is it?
I'll tell you what it is. When somebody comes to your house, you are so emotionally connected to your house.
True.
That if they like it, a potential buyer, the first thing they're going to start doing is negotiating. And I literally had somebody do this. We were going to sell our house in Cohasset. I put the signs out, self-sell, and I'm glad we never did it. I put the signs out, for sale by owner, we call them FSBO in the trade. And then when the calls started coming in, I was getting nervous because I thought I might have to really sell this place. And we had a person come up the road from a nearby road, and she was standing in the back, and she looked in my backyard, and I have to say, I don't take credit for this house because I didn't build it. It's beautiful. It has a European flavor to it. So there's a wrought iron gate in the back, and it looks out on a 20 by 40 in-ground pool that I swim in a lot. So the person was standing there, and she said, oh, I just noticed you're selling your house. Well, she said, you know, the pool is going to be a detriment. And I wanted to kill her because this is my pièce de résistance. So I simply said at that point, you know, then we're not going to probably do any business with this. So she was considering it a detriment. But what she was doing was negotiating. And I missed that because it's my own property. I am emotionally.
So you're arguing against the self-sell.
I'm saying that that's the thing you have to be careful with.
Right, got that. So there seems to be a lot of aspects to I mean, it's a pretty thick book in terms of the concept of boomerang. So when we come back, some of the reasons why Rhode Island and why boomerang back, but specifically what you ought to be thinking about when you're trying to get that whole retirement plan. Stay with us. Well, I can see why our guest is having fun out there on the talk to you circuit, because there's a lot to cover here, and you offer a lot of personal anecdotes, which I think is obviously the foundation for your theories here on the boomerang thing. All right, we already covered the idea that our kids should come back, but we need to provide fertile ground for them to come back. Self-selling your home is something that you're going to have to research a little bit more. And try to take the emotion out of it. And you're absolutely right. It's a very personal thing. If you decide to sell your home, you got to depersonalize the whole situation. That's hard to do.
And you got to know what you're doing.
Right, exactly. But this notion of coming back and finding what in returning to Rhode Island? What is it that you found, and what it caused you after being up and down the East Coast and in Nashville, North Carolina for how long a period of time? For
years.
A couple decades.
Yeah.
To come back. Did you always have in your mind that you wanted to come back to Rhode Island, or a process of elimination?
No.
You said, you know what, we got to go back home.
The process of elimination in the beginning, when we did all the traveling and everything, and I think that's what a lot of people do. They say, oh, what do you think about this place for later on? And they're looking for warmer, usually. We nixed everything that was along the coast, and boy, are we glad we did that now because of climate change. Yeah. And we also are not boaters, and we're not golfers. Yeah, that nixed a lot of communities.
The latter is a big strike against you, by the way. Big,
I guess I know what that one is.
There's 2 days, you know, your boat, and in Rhode Island, this is dangerous to say, the 2 days that are terrific about your boat, the day you buy it and the day you sell it, right?
Yes,
yes. But as far as you're not playing golf, I mean,
I know.
That's a character flaw. I just want you to know that.
Okay. So that was really why we ended up going inland to Asheville. Asheville is 7 hours inland from the coast. So you're not going to see any ocean water.
So why here?
I said that to myself the first 3 or 4 days. And then after that, it began to lull me. It's in the Smoky Blue Ridge Mountains.
No, why here? Why back here? Why
back here? Oh, yeah. Gee, I thought you were going to ask me why out there.
No.
Well, you want to know what's in the book without buying the book? You're at a loss for words.
She's tough, huh?
All right, I'm going to give you one thing.
Wow, how about that? You're very stingy with your information.
No, I just want to give you a little lure here.
Okay.
I love the topography of New England. I love Rhode Island. I love the marshes. I love the seashore, the in and out. We've kayaked. We've gone boat. All right, I do a little boating, kayaking, etc. along the coastline. We love the Cape. We bike a lot. That's pedal biking. I can't find an area that gives me that kind of thing that I need for my soul.
Okay, we can accept that. So I'm gonna drag a couple of concepts. We only have a couple of minutes left. I'm drag a couple of thoughts out. Top 2 or 3 things for people to be thinking about when they're downsizing or when they're trying to land in what they think might be their final place.
For their what place?
You know, their final place, their retirement place.
Final place.
Yeah, you don't know if it's going to be final or not, but most people say, all right, this is the spot we want to kind of coast out on. What is what are the principles that are in this book that you think are important?
We opted to have a condominium community because of the fact that we were going back and forth. I do something on the 2-state shuffle. What doesn't occur to people when they're going to be doing the 2-state shuffle? There are things that they will need to know that they need to adjust to.
Like?
A simple thing like all of your connections for your internet, everything, your printer, everything has to be readjusted to. It's crazy. You don't think that's going to bother you at the time, but it does, because memory will become more of a problem as you get older. Going back and forth is more of a problem as you get older. We did, usually it was, I think 14 hours it took us to get down there, so we did 7-hour stretches each day for traveling. Because we had kept our house here in Cohasset, and then we kept the
Where did you boomerang back to? Where do you live?
In Cohasset.
In Cohasset.
Love Lane, off Love Lane.
Okay, well, you don't have to
I
get
mean,
specific.
imagine that, imagine Love Lane. Can you get more idyllic than that?
All right, so the bottom line, the executive summary on the purpose and the result of writing the book is what?
Because I'm a teacher and because I'm a realtor and because I want to protect people and I want to help people so that they don't make critical mistakes, the mistakes I saw, people going into Asheville, and again, it could be anywhere, were buying off signs. Those signs are realtors that represent the seller. They need to be apprised of that. They need to know fiduciary loyalty. Who's going to be representing them? If they're just calling on signs, anywhere, even in Rhode Island, that person is representing the seller. You're not going to be getting protection.
Okay, so there's the real estate angle, and
well, the real estate angle is the biggest. If you go to
primary.
Florida, you're going to just have transactional realtors. That's what basically most of them are. In Rhode Island, you can get a buyer agent. In North Carolina, you can get a buyer agent. You're not paying for them in most cases.
Right. They're getting a piece of the seller agent's
And you're one of the
commission.
few that knows that.
Yeah. The book is called Boomerang. For a life experience lived and learned, you should pick it up. And for all those tidbits, you should do the same. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
All right, final thought when we come back. Stay with us. Alrighty, so coming up next week, the Senate President is going to join us, and there are a lot of issues on the table in this interim period, including but not limited to how we actually choose the leadership, or more specifically, how the leadership chooses itself amongst the General Assembly members. There's some consternation. We'll talk to the Senate President about that, and then follow up later in the week with a rep or a state senator that really has a problem with the way the process works. You'll have to tune in to find. So you've got to tease, just like our last guest is. You know, buy that Boomerang book. That's where all the meat is. You have a great weekend. Thanks to all.